Hello. Sometimes life seems to deal us challenges, like a disability. And sometimes out of nowhere come opportunities. I think we have an opportunity, but it didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of more than 40 years of constant work for human rights. And that opportunity is to take the fight for our rights as people with disabilities to a new level. You see, for more than a generation, people with disabilities have organized, creating their own organizations, disabled people's organizations or DPOs. And we focused our attention on establishing our rights within the legal framework of our countries, our communities, the world. And to a very great extent now, we have succeeded. We have the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, the CRPD, passed through the United Nations, ratified by nations all over the world, and being implemented as countries evaluate their own laws, policies, practices, according to a comprehensive and systematic vision of what it means to offer us our full rights as people with disabilities. Now, once we do that, we have to ask the question, what are the parts of society that can't be legislated? Where are the fingers of freedom that we want to extend more deeply into a society? And what are the ways to do that? Well, I think Article 30 of the Convention on the Rights of People with Disability gives us a bit of a clue. Article 30 talks about sports, leisure, and tourism. And I think there we see exactly where we need to be going for this next stage. It's less of an adversarial stage. It's less a matter of convincing governments, because to a large extent, they've already been convinced. The laws are there. They may not be implemented. They may not be supervised. They may be looked at somewhat as something to avoid. But in fact, they're there. And that fight, for the first time in history, has reached a mature point. But in day-to-day life, in the products that business put out, in the services that we receive, are we included? Are buildings accessible? Are products made for us? Well, if we're going to see Article 30 of the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities active in our world, then we need not only that convention and the laws and whatever, but we need the active collaboration, the active imagination of our scientists, of our thinkers, of our marketing experts, of our business entrepreneurs. And that's where I think we have our historical opportunity. So we want to build a disabled people's organization that has a national scope, that fits into a growing international network of regional and national organizations working for inclusion in tourism. We want that DPO to have strong leadership by people with disabilities. We want it to know what its rights are and have strong collaboration with government. But here's the historical challenge. We also want to be developing partnerships with business. Now, we can just argue a philosophical point or a legal point with governments and eventually win the day. But with business, we need to be more pragmatic. We need to be people who are experienced, articulate, well educated, and also able to enter into an entrepreneurial mindset that says, can we create something on a profit motive that's sustainable? Now, we know that tourism is very profitable. It's one of the largest industries in the world, and it certainly is global. We also know that the population of the world is aging. So if we put together our desire to travel, our ability to travel, because we have the economics to do it, the legal mandate that we should be a part of culture and leisure, and the fact that the world population is aging and therefore gaining what we would call disabilities, then we have kind of a perfect storm, a perfect opportunity for us to make a real difference as we promote inclusive tourism. That's the vision that I want to keep ahead of us. How can we talk as people with disabilities to people in government, to people in business, or as people with disabilities who are in business or who are in government, and weave that story together so that we're able to move our economy, and let's start with the economy of the travel and hospitality sector, move that economy towards greater inclusion, towards greater justice for people with disabilities.